Advice. Hey guys, this is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're gonna be helping one of our on their personality type. Noodles. You don't have to go into any trauma or anything you don't feel comfortable with. But what you say, what you do, and say, we will use to triangulate down on your best fit type. You are free to do with that whatever you feel is necessary. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. So in the typology community, people call me Noodles. That's what where the name's coming from. I've been into typology for over 20 years now. Um, I've been interested in observing people since I think I can remember, being conscious. Um, I've been interested in psychology since I can remember as well. In college, for instance, instead of studying for my exams in pharmacy, I used to spend almost every day in the library until closing time, just reading up books and magazine articles from Psychology Today about psychology. Topics can range from typology to telepathy, near death experiences, everything psychology.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. Seems like you've been. So what are the things that you like about it and the things you don't like?
Well, um, specifically typology or psychology?
Typology.
Typology. Um, the things that I like about it is that, for instance, in the psychoanalytical toolbox, um, this is where identification comes from, categorization. And so it's good that you have a way and a means to know yourself. Because once you know yourself, then you can go to the next step, which is, you know, now that I know, what do I do so that I can be, I can grow, I can be a better person. And that's with the repair, I guess, toolbox. And then the last one would be maintenance toolbox. So how do I maintain? How do I, you know, be a social person, for instance, despite being introverted, or how, what kinds of, physical activities can I do so that my mental psyche, whatever, will be healthy. So, but the negative thing that I see about it is that a lot of people get stuck with the identification part. And since it's been hijacked by um, the so many other things, um, it now has somehow become like a hierarchy. You know, certain types are better than the rest, or um, yeah, hierarchy is not, I think, healthy because it prevents one from growing.
Mhm.
And what's the point of knowing your type, knowing yourself, if you won't do anything about it?
Yeah, I think that happens a lot in the tech community. I think that's probably
Yes.
I like Pareto's principle. So I would say about 80% of people aren't gonna find the type and not do shit about it, and the 20% will find the type and actually work on their weaknesses.
Yes.
It's just reality. Uh,
Can you tell us about yourself as a kid?
Um, as a kid, I believe I was very curious. Um, I used to sneak out of the house a lot and just walk in the neighborhood, my parents not knowing. I would get lost and I would find myself in streams, looking at tadpoles and exploring little insects and animals. I used to steal medicines from the medicine cabinet and mix them up together and, put them in certain, maybe put them under the sun to see how it would react to the sun or the heat. Um, I used to pick up ants and see how they would react to like certain conditions. Like if I put them on ice, how would they still survive? Um, I've also always been very curious about people, but this is like a very recent realization. I used to like draw a lot of spirals when I was a kid, And within the spirals, I would draw stick figures. Sometimes the people would be going towards the center of the spiral. Sometimes the stick figure would be going towards the outside. And before, it was just a little hobby for me to do. I was just, drawing stick figures. But now when I think about it, I realized that I think that was me trying to draw what I observe in the outer world and translating it on paper. Like, this is what I see how people interact. Some of them get into some of them fall in love, for instance. Some of them act mean towards each other. Some of them just want to be alone. So yeah, curious and observant, I think.
What are some things that you feel insecure about and confident about in regards to yourself, your personality?
I feel like I'm quite insecure about there are certain people who can just like speak and talk about things and facts and or the truths in their head, and they can just say it outright without much thought, and it just flows. There's no staccato thing that's going on. Like right now, I feel like I'm going like this. Some of them just flows and speak and talk, and it's very intimidating sometimes to see that, I want to be able to do the same. Um, um, so one is insecurities, right? What's the other
Yes.
question? Uh,
Confidence.
I believe I'm pretty. One of my friends called me daring when I was in college because even if I just, I'm quite confident in doing certain things. Like I would join certain clubs even if I don't know anyone from there. I travel solo a lot. I used to travel solo a lot, and I don't even book hotels. I would just go and find my way through the city. Um, and it doesn't mean that I don't have a plan. Like I have a general structure in my head about how things like in my travel plan, then I just go for it. I believe I'm very much also into growth. And so if I like compare myself to people that I grew up with 10 or 20 years ago, I feel like I have achieved far, I've reached far in my life.
Okay. And how can, if somebody tells you something, how do you know if it's true or not?
Um, the truth is like the common denominator of facts. Knowing that certain facts are like biased. Some of them are biased. So, in my mind, I should be able to like filter out the truth from all the facts in a scientific manner. That means you have to look at the method of how something or how a certain test was executed, the conclusion and the references. Just check if it all links together, if there's certain biases.
Okay.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Sorry.
I said, what do you want to be remembered for?
Um, oof. I have this thinking that, all of us are just insignificant. So if I guess there's one thing that I would want to be remembered for, it would probably be that I did my part to make my way into life as smooth as possible it is for everyone else around me. Like for instance, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna make it in my terms, and I wouldn't want anyone to suffer when I get old.
Okay, if you had three wishes, what would you wish for? Why?
Hmm. Hmm. Um, I wish that in maybe 10 or 20 years from now or sooner, we have AI. I wish that Alzheimer's, dementia, or Parkinson's will just be like fever. And we can just give a medicine for it and it's going to be gone. It's going to be easy to treat. Another one would also be that dying with dignity would be better understood by people in 10 or 20 years from now. Because right now we still kind of live in archaic times where we let people live despite them suffering in hospitals and despite them being very old. I think my last wish would that, can I think of another one? That people, I guess, will have more time for themselves to like introspect and to, enjoy life and to grow, to look inside, because a lot of us are so busy, especially those of us that are in our 20s. 20s is such a difficult time, I guess. A lot of people struggling, a lot of people very busy in the corporate world, making it through life, making it through their families, that they don't have the time to stop and to just think and to just really, contemplate about life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think is something you're trying to work on?
I'm trying to work on, I believe that would be my shadows, I believe. There are certain things in my personal life that I would rather avoid in the near future. For instance, I believe for now, like at this moment, that I'm not a good caretaker. Like I'm very impatient. So my question for myself right now is what would happen down the road when my parents get older and I'm this way. So I'm trying to work on that. I'm also trying to work on, I guess, my speaking skills. I feel like I'm lacking in the capacity to influence people. And maybe it's the way I talk, but I would want people to listen to me when I give them advice sometimes, because it will help them, I guess, greatly if they do. So those are two things that I'm working on myself right now.
Do you think why do you think people don't listen to you?
I really don't know. Maybe because I I can get so serious. I'm smiling right now, but I'm really very serious in real life, and I can be blunt. And especially when I care about someone, I can be very blunt. And I guess I just have to change the way I talk because, for instance, my husband listens to me because I'm very affectionate towards him. But all the others, I'm not very affectionate. I'm just straightforward and blunt. And I also get impatient. If I repeat myself, I'm like, I just, I'll be visibly annoyed. And so I guess that makes them think that it's not worth listening to me or something. But yeah, yeah.
What makes
I
you feel
guess it's
impatient?
just,
Like
sorry.
what do you think drives your impatience? Like why do you feel impatient?
When I have to repeat myself mostly because, for instance, certain friends or family members would come and, vent maybe and ask for advice. And from then on, I would see the problem and see some practical solutions to it or some good solutions to it that can help them pretty much. And then after several weeks or several months, they come back with the same problem. There's a term for that in psychology. It's called help rejecting complainers. And I'm very impatient when it's the same problem over and over again and it doesn't get solved.
How do you behave when you get angry?
Snappy. I'm very snappy, and yeah, just snappy, and I'm visibly annoyed. My face is very, like, I guess, it's transparent.
Does it take a lot to make you angry?
Yes. I'm very patient. One of my CEOs that I worked with in the past told me that it takes a lot to ruffle my feathers.
Okay. How do you go about learning something new?
Learning something new, I feel like I learn the best when I touch it, when I feel it. For instance, my husband just bought me a looping station. I was trying to read the manual at first, but I was like, this is crazy. This is so boring. But when I started playing with it, I started creating like music out of it. And that was like, yeah, this is easy. I can do this. Yeah, I just have to be there and I have to touch something. I have to feel it. For instance, when I was in high school, when I have to study a lot for like a test, I would read all the notes all at once, and then I would get like a paper and write everything that I remember in the smallest, smallest letters as much as possible. And everything that I remember would all be in that paper. And I would bring that to school. That's what I would use to review. So I review initially at home with my notes, and then I write it all in that little paper, and that little paper now becomes what I review with when I go to school.
What are like some of like outside like subjects that you like to pursue outside like psychology?
Um, I've always been into science. I like watching chemical reactions. That's why I took pharmacy in college, and I was a pharmacist for about 10 years.
Hmm.
And yes, science. I'm also very much into meditation. 5 years ago, I got myself certified to be a meditation facilitator. I went to India for that, and I feel like that's the course that I'll be taking um, till I get old, I guess. It's still, I still like science. I still play with herbs and stuff like that. So there's still some science and psychology in it, I believe.
Hmm. What do you think attracted you to science?
Hmm, I'm trying to remember. Um, because I wanted to be a doctor since I can remember, since I was a kid, but I no longer remember why. I no longer remember why I wanted to be a doctor. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you became a pharmacist. Why did you? So what are you doing now that you say you're no longer doing pharmacy? So what do you do now?
After I got married, my husband told me to consider myself retired. So I'm a housewife. I have my garden. I play with herbs. And um, I guess in the future I'll be making music some with the loop station, or I'll be doing meditations, holding events like that. So yeah.
How, how,
What's,
how
oh,
did you
sorry,
feel
go
about
ahead.
retiring?
What I feel about
I said,
retiring?
how did you feel about retiring? Just like,
Well, it took me about, I don't know, 4 years to finally accept that I can relax. Because before that, I was I would call myself like an achiever. I was an independent, what I would consider an independent woman for years. I was single for years before that. And so I was so used to looking after myself and just being selfishly myself and doing what I want and and not trusting anyone else with that. So it took me 4 years of constantly asking my husband, like, are you sure this is this is what you want. Are you sure this is working for you? But also, I just wanted to be sure that it's exactly what he likes, because I didn't know that, what if he's just doing it for me? Um, so now we're almost 5 years married. I've finally relaxed into it, that I'm like, I can trust him. He, like, I can trust now that this is exactly what he wants. And I also love being a housewife. So I didn't know it before. I
Uh-huh.
thought I didn't know that I would like being a housewife before, but after I became one, I'm like, wow, this is nice.
Uh,
How do you feel if people approach you with like emotional issues?
Um, Normally I would be very open to it, and I would be very happy to even just sit down. If they want someone just to listen to them, I would. If they want advice, I would. But the problem is that if they come to me over and over and over with the same problem, that's when I become impatient.
What if a stranger approaches you, like
Oh,
crying?
stranger? Oh, I'm very much open to strangers. I like when I travel, I like talking to people, to strangers, and some of them would confide, like tell me their secrets or what's happening in their lives at the moment. And I'd happily listen, and I'd be very curious, because that's
Do you,
another being.
do you think you're able to like understand their emotion, like, and I guess be supportive in the way they need?
I probably I think I have a kind face, or a placid kind face, so I guess that helps. Um, and also I'm open to listening to them. So I feel like they feel probably that they're listened to. But I don't think I'll make a good therapist though.
why do you think you
Why not?
would be a good therapist?
I'm impatient. Like, if it's the same person coming to me over and over with the same problem, I'll
Uh,
just be like, I'll tell them to get out of the door and just
uh, I could understand that. That's exactly why I couldn't do that job. So,
Uh, what do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
mm, 5 or 10 years. So my mom is like 65, I think, mid 60s. Um, the past 2 years, um, I'm basically the next 5, 10 years is me preparing myself, and I guess my loved ones, for what's to come. Um, so she plans to retire. So I've been giving her books about retirement, about what to do with, money, how to budget properly. Because, I just want her to be responsible when the time comes, and to make it easy for everyone. And for me, I'm preparing myself probably emotionally, like how can I, like, my impatience, how do I deal with my impatience when that time comes? Um, as for the other aspects of my life, I plan to have a band with my husband, so making music together in the next 5 or 10 years. And I've also been developing certain recipes from the garden, because um, I have a big garden. So um, when I can something, I kind of make it special. Like this year, I made sugar-free sweet pickles. So I just substituted sugar with stevia extract, which I planted stevia from the garden. So I'm kind of proud of that.
Oh wow, so you're using your pharmacy and chemistry background.
Yes.
so one thing, has anybody ever approached you, a stranger? Sorry to go back to this, but has anybody ever approached you, a stranger, with emotional issues?
Yes, many times.
Does it
Many
make you feel
times.
uncomfortable at all?
Yeah. I mean, I'm comfortable with it. I'm I think I've gotten used to it over the years, because I've lived in big cities, at least three big major cities, and there's always so many people. And so during commute or during being outside, it's inevitable that some people would be, probably lonely, so they would try to approach you and sometimes even try to flirt with you or to tell you about their problems. It's pretty normal for me.
What do you think is one thing that's wrong with humanity?
Good for humanity?
No, wrong with it.
Oh, wrong with humanity. Um, it's the endless bickering. I feel like it's, pointing fingers at each other. Um, See, wars can end if people decide to stop, but somehow people say it's more complicated than that and start pointing fingers. But people can just stop. And if they stop, just get on with their lives. Okay, I guess some land needs to be given to this and that, but you know, I guess
How
stop.
do you how do you feel about people just taking in information that they hear from like the news and believing it?
It's frustrating sometimes, especially when you see it in some family members. There's really not much you can do. I don't want to argue about it because it's just gonna ruin the harmony, I guess. So all I can do is just observe and like be frustrated with it as I observe.
How what's your normal weekend like?
Lately, the past 5 years at least, my husband is home on the weekends, so we cuddle, we spend time together. Sometimes we watch movies. Sometimes just at home, spend time together. So sometimes do some chores, but we really try to make our weekends as relaxed as much as possible.
How do you feel about conflict? Like if there's a problem and somebody says something that you don't like, how do you resolve it?
Oh, I'm very direct. Like if somebody like comes to me and tries to like tell me things, I would answer back. Um, but it depends. For instance, with my husband, I'm different towards him. Like I'm affectionate towards him. So if there's like a certain conflict that's starting to arise, I would, talk to him gently and kindly and try to get his side. I'm not all that. With other people, I think I'm more aggressive sometimes.
What is 3 words people would say about you?
The funny thing is that a lot of times people are usually just honest when they're mad. So I cannot really think about anything positive right now. Um, okay. Well, my friend from college said that I'm bold. I don't know why she said that. Another friend, well, this person didn't really like me. She said that silent waters run deep. That is supposed to describe me, apparently. Quiet waters run deep, something like that. Um, Weird. Someone was so mad at me one time. She said I'm weird.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
So, sorry. Why did somebody say you were weird? What was the
We will.
or why
We
do you
were.
think they did it?
Well, we were arguing, and I think I said some things, and she thought that it was weird, so she said I'm weird.
Do you think it was like a projection into the future? Like I've been called weird for that particularly.
I think we've all been called weird,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
hey,
I've also been called insensitive.
really insensitive. Why do you say that?
Well, there was a time that my sister is deaf. So there was a time that I used to draw this hand signal whenever I write letters for my friends in college. So I used to draw that for them. And one of my friends said, "No, that's the devil sign." She was very religious. So she said, that's the devil sign. I said, no, that's not the devil sign. This is the devil sign. This is I love you. And she was arguing with me for days about that. And I was like, and then she said, you're insensitive. It's like, okay.
Mm,
How do you feel about all the changes to, like, in the world where people are calling other people insensitive because they're not adhering to the new social norms?
It's ridiculous, really. Like, um, I think it'll pass. It'll pass. It's just the face, you know. We're like at the time now where we're all like teenagers, right? Calling names, bullying each other. Probably in the next few years, it's gonna be different.
um, how was your like parents?
Um, my parents divorced when I was about to finish when I finished college, basically. I was about to be a doctor. I was about to go to med school and they decided to divorce. Um, I'm no longer speaking to my dad. My mom is still around, you know, I'm still with my mom. She's still around. She's near. She's just a few miles away. Um, my mom is super extroverted, party, social butterfly. My dad is the opposite.
So do you feel the need to have friends or like be accepted?
Um, I do feel the need to be included, uh, but I don't always feel the need to have friends in real life. Like I'm very content that I'm loved by my husband. So I'm not even seeking friends. But online, I have online friends, I would say. Um, yeah, online friends. In real life friends, I think my husband is my only best friend and my friend. And I'm happy with that.
What do you think is your mission in life?
Um, my mission is to die when I'm due, you know. When I'm ready to die, I can go. I don't want anyone to suffer prior my death for me. I don't want people to be affected by that. I want to go gracefully or to just disappear. Maybe it's easier to disappear.
But no mission. You have no mission, no purpose, no. Yeah.
Do you plan to have kids?
No, no kids. The mission is just to probably convince everyone else around me that the perfect way to go is to not make it difficult for anyone else. That's it. Just, you know, make everyone be more death positive.
So no kids. Why no kids?
Both of me and my husband don't like kids.
Wow. Why didn't you like kids? Just
Um, they're just big responsibilities, you know. Um, it's it's like a very big responsibility and it can alter your life significantly, I guess. I do appreciate people with kids. I have so much admiration for them, but I don't think I'm a good caretaker. I don't think I'm like equipped with that.
earlier you were talking about toolbox. What do you mean by that? You were talking about the toolbox thing.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about psychoanalysis. You know, Freud and Jung, they were like the pioneers of psychoanalysis. And to be able to have a healthy psyche or a healthy self or a healthy ego, you need certain toolboxes. Just like, you know, if you have a car or if you have a garden, like the toolbox for getting to know yourself, categorizing yourself, or to knowing if you have any mental issues would be in that identification toolbox. So, yeah, I can probably relate the ID toolbox to going to a doctor, like, and seeing your DNA or your identity, like, you know, so you have these genes from these ethnicity. So, you know, you're susceptible to these kinds of diseases because you're in this from this lineage. So that's the ID toolbox. And then there's the repair toolbox. I probably individuation can come in that box because individuation kind of like makes you be more aware of your animus, your anima, your shadows, and you know, you gotta work on it for your growth and to heal and for everything else. So it's just like certain things, certain toolboxes, certain, I think, parameters that one can use to improve one's life and to have a healthier, basically everything revolves around having a healthy psyche, a healthy self. So yeah.
Well. Shelly, what are you thinking? You done?
Yeah. Enneagram. Did you want to ask questions for that?
Oh,
Do you ever have any concerns about like your future with like money or like your safety or anything?
No. Um I have I have everything figured out basically. No matter what happens, I know what I'll do. Um like if something terrible happens, I know where I'll be going. I
So you
know what.
basically already have contingency plans or like just
Yes.
plan? Yeah.
6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 6. What are you thinking, Shelly? We done?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. Early on, it was you were talking about the next step for yourself, uh, things like of that nature. So that, and you're big on like the growth and all this, and you even once compared yourself to other people and talked about like kind of like you were in a better place because you have had progression or growth and they haven't. So that's going to be a TE comparison, and it's also going to be progression. Then you're talking about the toolbox for this, toolbox for that, toolbox for maintenance. That's more of a systematic approach and a TE
Mm.
thing. Um, we did get you talking about the sneaking out of the house and stealing medicine and stuff like that. I did note that down for probably light pragmatic there. You talk about what you want. You know what you have for the future. My way into life, my terms. So it's a SENI approach. And obviously your future focus, everything you talk about is like very NI focus. So quickly we had you down to INJ. And we were just
Mm.
trying to make sure because I think maybe your culture comes in a little bit and makes you come off a lot more affiliative than you are. But the big takeaways from what you said was you were an independent woman, selfish, doing what I want, not trusting anything to others. That's a pragmatic approach there. Okay, very pragmatic. Um, so we have to hit you for that for pragmatic. Um, and you also talk about your fear of not being a good caretaker. INFJ probably not going to have that problem with FE parent. So by default, we have you as an INTJ. What'd you type yourself as?
I was getting so confused. See, 20 years I've been into typology and I still cannot figure myself out. I typed myself ISTP at one point. I mistyped as an ENTP for a very long time, for maybe over 10 years. And the past few months, I've been thinking, what if I'm ENFJ?
All right.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in a hero.
Yeah, you're definitely NI hero. So NI hero, it's all about like my path, my future, my way,
FE's
my turn.
FE's gonna like enjoy taking care of other people and like get
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
relief and happiness from that. So
I
I
enjoy
don't think,
taking care of one person. That's my husband.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
It does work.
when I had my kids, I think when there were less of them, it was okay. It can be overwhelming to like extend
Yeah,
myself that far to take care of a lot of people
Yeah.
or too much demanding from me.
it
Yeah.
is
So
stressful.
it's very easy to see that you're a direct responding progression. Direct, responding, progression, abstract. You only got two types left, infj and intj. And then being like talking about, independent woman, selfish, doing what I want, not trusting others with anything, talking about toolbox, um, stuff of that nature. Um, that's gonna land you in INTJ land. Unfortunately, INTJ land. Okay.
Yep.
But I think your culture did make it a lot tougher because
Yeah.
you're not like uber pragmatic like somebody like Shelly would be, which you would obviously just come off very quickly. Yours is a little bit more sneaky pragmatic, a little bit,
I'm a smiley face.
yeah, a little. But I could say that your approach to like being able for people to die when they're old,
Mm,
choice, that's like a utilitarian mindset. So that
mm,
also going to pragmatic as well,
yeah.
because that's a focus on what works, not what's right.
Yes.
So your focus is on what's
That
works, not what's
works.
right. Yeah. So INTJ.
Thank you very much.
You got any questions for us?
What's my Enneagram?
You sound like a six.
Yeah,
With
but you probably type
contingency
as a
plans.
five. Just my
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, you probably type as a five, but with the contingency plans and things like that, and being a great problem solver, probably six W5 most likely. Um,
You should watch Beatrice Chestnut. She has some Enneagram panel
yeah,
videos on YouTube.
yeah.
I did.
You
I
you watched
did.
it? Did you see
Well,
sixes?
not Beatrice, but
Oh,
other.
watch Beatrice. She has like a chair of panels. And
Yeah.
like she'll have like panels of like three people, four people. I think it's four people,
Yeah, four.
and they will talk about their life and things like that. Everyone that was on the sixth panel was an INTJ. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And the eight, I think, were all ENTJs besides maybe that one lady. I don't know what she was. She was, I don't know. Well, she was talking about like stalking kids and shit. That was weird shit. I don't know what the fuck was up with that lady. I think she was the social aide or something. That lady was fucking weird, mad weird. I was like, oh no, I don't know what she is. She seems like I don't know what she is. She got overprotective FI. I don't know what it
Oh
is.
my goodness.
I don't know what that lady. Tell me she wasn't weird, Shelly. She was
Yeah,
weird as shit.
mm-hmm.
I was
She
like
was a little
everybody else is
out
the ENTJ on that panel besides that woman. I don't know what she is. I was like, is she ENFJ? I was leaning ENFJ. I
there. Mm-hmm.
know she was kind of like psycho.
That's funny.
A little unstable, yeah.
I was just like, that's too much.
Yeah,
But
but I
yeah,
think that could be useful if you listen to them. I mean, you can kind of like hear your own mindset in others when they're talking because it can be hard to tell from just reading the descriptions
yeah,
because you don't see it in yourself a lot of it. I mean, I think for sixes, anyways.
yeah. Like when you listen to those guys, they're all like breathing down like NI land. Apparently from Beatrice Chestnut, INTJs have the most NI. So
Hmm.
that makes the most sense that
Yeah.
it's gonna be in the sixth land. With the contingency plans, I know what I'm gonna do if this happens. I know if I'm gonna do if this happens.
I have something new to binge on other than Mongolian mindset.
Definitely, yeah. Check out hers. Just Beatrice Chestnut and type in like panels, and you can just watch the panels. It helped me learn. I bought a book, but it helped me like see the types more because now I can see the types, I can see the enneagrams, and then I can
Yeah.
see what's going on with them. And yeah. But any other questions?
How did you come up with Mongolian mindset?
So this is funny. So when I was a kid, I was very big into just looking at the historic figures,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember like reading Napoleon, all about Napoleon, all about George Washington, all
Yeah.
Genghis Khan, all about
Mhm.
Alexander the Great, all about Cyrus the Great, all about Hannibal, um, Scipio, Wallace, Julius Caesar, and I was just like, okay, which one is the one that speaks mostly to me? And I thought Genghis Khan was by far the best one, coming from like almost nothing, uniting tribes, and just
Yeah.
being ruthless to his pursuit of things. I know some people,
ENTJ.
I know some people are gonna say like, oh, he destroyed like the population and all this other stuff, but everybody's a creature of their time. Like you can't really hold
Yeah,
somebody accountable for like outside of time because you think you're better than them. But if you're in that time, you might do similar things.
exactly.
So I really liked his mindset, and I think like a lot of people should adopt that type of mindset in their life, and then
Yeah,
get a lot further. Being relentless about what they want or relentless about what they're going after. Too many people are passive nowadays. So,
yeah.
and I just love Chinese philosophy. It's like I love it. That was like my first love. Like I love the Three Kingdoms. Oh my God, I love the Three Kingdoms. But yeah, that's how I got into it. But anything else?
I think that's it for now, and I'm really, thankful. Thank you for typing me and spending some time with me today.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care.